Hi there again. Hope you're all doing well today. My name is Elise again. I don't know if some of you caught my last video, but I talked a little bit about the importance of showing up even in the midst of struggles. And I think what I didn't really get into was like why that kept happening. Like I wasn't really showing up for myself. And probably a lot of you out there have really frustrating days and don't always show up either. Not your fault. That's human nature, right? So I wanted to think about this. Have you ever just felt like you're trying, and you're doing your best, but just something is not clicking? Like you can be on for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and all of a sudden you're exhausted. You're off track. Something happens, you get derailed, and then you're just right back to square one. How many of you have felt that way? I'm right there with you. I can't tell you how many times I started over and over and over. How many of you out there can say, I'll just start over Monday? You know, something happens on a Wednesday, Thursday, something derails you, life happens, and you just say, screw it, the weekend's coming up, I'll just start over again on Monday. I can't tell you how many start overs I've had. Way too many to count over my lifetime. If you remember, I talked about since the age of 11, I worried about what I put in my mouth. 11 years old. I'm now 54. That's crazy. How many of you have done that, worried about tracking your calories, writing down every little thing that you eat, trying this plan, trying that plan, then going to another plan and going back to another plan? Like, what are we doing? And then, you know, what's interesting, we say, well, it didn't work. What does work actually mean? I can guarantee you the word work means for us weight loss, right? We don't care about health. We don't care about our blood pressure, our cholesterol, our sugar levels. No, as long as we lose those 3 pounds on that scale, right? I'm right there with you. And the working wasn't working because I would lose a few pounds and gain them all right back. Because everything I was doing, I could not sustain it. It was not sustainable. And I think also I mentioned in my last video, I said the 3 questions you should ask yourself when embarking on any health journey or health diet, which I hate that word diet because it's so punitive, is it something you can sustain for the rest of your life? Is it based in science? And is it something you would allow a child to do? Now, if you're doing keto or fasting or the GLP meds, all that stuff, and I were to ask you, would you allow your child to do any one of those 3 plans? Probably you'd say no. And I would say to you, then why are you doing it? If you wouldn't let your child do it, why are you doing it? And it's not your fault. We're all looking for the quick fixes. We're looking for what's going to work, you know, in our minds, whatever that word work means to you. I think the problem is a lot of us are chasing that end goal, but what is the end goal? There really is no end goal because you're always a work in progression. So if your only goal is to lose 20 pounds, okay, I mean, that's an okay goal to have, but how are you going to maintain that? And where's your health along the way? I can't tell you how many skinny people are out there that are not healthy. They're like a disaster. Their blood work is a disaster. And I know a lot of heavier people that are very healthy. So if you chase health, you're going to get all those benefits and weight loss at the same time. Wouldn't that be great to get it all in one package rather than just chasing that one weight loss goal? And we have no control over what that weight is going to be on that scale. We have no control over that. We just don't. So we're chasing an impossible number that we don't even know what that number should be. It's crazy. So I just feel like for me, it was partially the food, but for me, it was about being consistent and staying on. And then I would get so frustrated because I would do one wrong thing and I would beat myself up about it. I'd be like, oh, I must have not been disciplined enough. I must not have, tracked and counted that well enough or whatever. And I would constantly beat myself up. I was working against my body. I was not supporting it. And as someone who deals with chronic pain, which I still have every day, I contend the way that I've learned to eat and fuel my body has absolutely helped my chronic pain immensely, and a bunch of other things that I will get into down the road. I just realized I wasn't supporting it. I kept like butting heads with my own body. And I think that's what a lot of people out there do, because we think that we're doing the right thing. I thought I was doing the right thing by fasting and eating like no fat and no carbs. But who can live a life with no bread, pasta, rice? Come on, life is too short. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are not the enemy. We need carbs for energy. We need them. We just have to learn how to pair them with other items so that our blood sugar stays stable, what we call homeostasis, where your body's nice and happy and not up and down on that roller coaster of blood sugar spikes and blood sugar crashes. Because that's what happens. We go hours without eating, and then what happens? We're starving at night, so we eat like 2,000 calories at night or whatever because we're starving, and we've just negated everything that we tried to do during the day. And then during the day, you're tired, you're having cravings. Well, I wonder why, because you're not eating. And then it's just this vicious cycle that you just can't get out of. How many of you have felt that way? It's not your fault. You're not broken. You just need support, and you need to know how to work with your body. It's something I've learned. And that's what I love about working with people, because like I get it. It's so helpful when someone's like gone through it, and you know, it's taken me, I'm 54 and it's taken me all this time to figure this out. Guess better late than never, but it's taken me a long time, and I so want to share that with people who are struggling, especially with chronic dieting, chronic pain, chronic illness, you know, whatever you have going on. I shared last week that I've got a very acute back problem right now. And I could literally just go crawl into a hole and say, screw this, and go eat hamburgers, potato chips, whatever. And let me say, you can eat those things. Nothing is off limits. I'm just saying that you want to sort of go through things in moderation. You want to think about what's going to fuel your body, as opposed to fueling your soul. You know what I mean? Then there's absolutely times and places to eat those more indulgent foods. But I just try to have foods that will support my body, because it's only going to make me feel worse. Obviously, with an acute back issue, I've got a lot of inflammation going on. I already have fibromyalgia, which is already a cascade of problems right there. It's a nervous system problem, so I'm already all hyped up there. So I know that I'm doing my body good if I can stay within those foods that are going to fuel my body and serve my body well. And that's what I love to help people with, and realize that they can live with food freedom, and that they don't have to sit and track every little ounce of food that they eat, because that is insane to me. Like, I couldn't do it anymore, and I'm sure a lot of you out there can't do it anymore and don't want to do it. I think you feel like it's the only way. It's not the only way. When I learned about blood sugar stabilization, which is what I teach, and I'm also a nurse, and I did not learn about that in nursing school. I took one nutrition course, nothing was mentioned about blood sugar stabilization. Imagine I don't even know, I was so appalled that I had not learned that. And a lot of medical professionals don't know that either. We know that they just throw pills at you and send you on your way. They don't even talk about nutrition. But it's also more than nutrition, it's mindset. It's working around those barriers and those things that get in the way, those obstacles that we have every day of our lives that can absolutely derail you. And that's why that's why when someone says to me, just tell me what to eat, it's just not that simple. I wish it was, but it's not. And just person A and person B, they're not gonna be fueled in the same way. They have different needs. So it can't just be a one size fits all. And that's why I love doing the one-on-one with people, because I get to know them, and we know what their needs are, what their wants are, and it's an amazing progression. It's an amazing progression. And they finally feel free. And they're not just looking at that scale every day. Oh, that scale, It would determine my mood for the day. It would determine my value and my worthiness. That's horrible. A number on a scale should not determine what your mood's going to be for the day. We have no control over that scale. We don't know what that number is supposed to even be. There are so many other variables involved in what goes into health. You know, the blood work. How do you feel physically? How about meds? Are you on meds? Can you get off your medications? You know, things like that. There's so many people I've seen that are very diabetic and they absolutely reversed it just through nutrition. It's insane, and it's so cool to see when that happens. So I just hope that this resonates with someone out there. I hope it does. Please contact me. I would love to talk with you. I also created a free guide, a 15-tip guide on overcoming fibromyalgia symptoms, but it's really a guide for everybody. I go over very basic tips and things that you can do right away to start feeling better. It's always about progress, not perfection. We cannot be perfect, nor should we be perfect. It's all about the journey and getting there and getting to where you want to be. But you know what? You might never get there. That's okay. It's the journey that's really what matters. 1% of the time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.